Hello and welcome back to Wave of Docker. This is gonna be a bit of a different video compared to what I usually post. Sports and such. I've said in past videos I want to tap into more things unique to myself as opposed to just covering sports stuff. Talking about some of my interests and hobbies. So that's what this video is. First of many, I hope. We're gonna be doing a vinyl collection video. I'm just gonna show you the vinyls that I have. Give like a brief little blurb about the album and like what I like about it and like when I got it if I can remember. But yeah, this should be a pretty fun video, just talk about stuff that I like. So like and subscribe, let's get into it. First up, Asia by Steely Dan. Probably like my second favorite Steely Dan project. I got this, I think in like December or January. Yeah, phenomenal album. Deacon Blues is probably my favorite on this album. I really enjoy it. I love Steely Dan. You'll see a lot more Steely Dan throughout this video. So yeah, Asia by Steely Dan. Next up, Amigos by Santana. This album was suggested to me by my cousin Mariano. Shout out Mariano. I got this in Havity Grace a few weeks ago. Pretty good album. My favorite is probably Tell Me Are You Tired. Really cool album art too. I just love the look of that. The back is also really nice. But yeah, Santana's pretty dope. Really good guitarist. Amigos by Santana. Next up, Around the World in a Day by Prince. I got this also in Havity Grace, and this is also a phenomenal album. Paisley Park is probably my favorite on this. Not my favorite Prince project, but it's definitely up there. Probably below, like, obviously, like, 1999 and Purple Rain. But it's still a phenomenal project. Yeah, Paisley Park, like I said, Raspberry Beret. Probably my favorites on this project. Yeah. Album. Next up, Blow by Blow by Jeff Beck. I got this for Christmas last year by my cousin. Again, shout out Mariano. Jeff Beck is phenomenal. This is probably my favorite project of his. Up there with Wired. You should check it out if you haven't. Really good guitarist, one of the best guitarists of all time. He passed away recently, actually. But yeah, really good project. I really like Diamond Dust and Cause We've Ended as Lovers. Those are definitely my favorites on this project. Diamond Dust is phenomenal. 8 minutes of just beautiful ambient guitar jazz, dude. It's so sick. Next up, Countdown to Ecstasy. One of the first projects that I keep saying that. One of the first albums, vinyls that I got. One of the first that I played on my record player when I got it for Christmas. Really, really good album. Boston Rag is probably my favorite. Like I said, you're going to see more Steely Dan throughout this video. I love Steely Dan. I like collecting vinyl. So, I got to have it. Really cool album cover. I like the colors a lot. It's a great album. Check it out if you haven't. Yeah, Boston Rag is probably my favorite. Your Gold Teeth is also really good. But yeah, Steely Dan. Next up, Steely Dan Gold. This is just like a collaborative album where they just kind of have some of their best hits from their past projects. They've got Hey 19 off of Gaucho, Green Earrings. I think that's The Royal Scam, I think, maybe. Deacon Blues, Chain Lightning, FM. FM is a unique to this album track. Black Cow, King of the World, and Babylon Sisters. Really cool album art. It was just cool to get this. I at one point had a mission to collect all the Steely Dan vinyls. That mission's kind of fizzled out just because it's been hard to come by a Cheap Thrills vinyl, but this is still a really good album. I love Steely Dan. Next up is Heavy Weather by Birdland. I really like Birdland. They're probably my favorite jazz group. Just really cool, I'd say ambient, nature sounds jazz. They just kind of throw the whole kit and caboodle at you. Jaco Pastorius is one of the best bass players as a part of this group. This isn't my favorite of theirs, but this is the only Weather Report album that I've been able to find during my missions of finding vinyls. But this is a really dope album. Birdland, Teen Town, really good tracks on this. But yeah, check out Weather Report if you haven't. If you enjoyed the Andre 3000, his recent album, I really did. They have a very similar sound, and they're a group that I thought of when listening to Andre 3000's album. It's really cool, ambient, it's just good jazz. Next up is Kids See Ghosts by Kanye West. This was the first vinyl that I actually got. I love this album. It's the Kid Cudi, Kanye West collaborative group, Kids See Ghosts. It's really good. I really like, I like the entire album, but Fourth Dimension, the title track, and Kid Cudi Montage are probably my favorites. But yeah, check it out if you haven't. Really cool album art. This is a good album. I'm curious to see if Kids See Ghosts create anything else. But I don't know. I think Kid Cudi and Kanye have beef or something. Oh. That's cool. Next up is Kauai by Childish Gambino. I got this at Barnes & Noble. I really don't have that many new vinyls. So it's this one, Kids See Ghosts, and there's like one other that I think I bought new, or maybe two more. This is really good. It's not my favorite Gambino project, but I honestly might be my second or third favorite. I really enjoy this album. I like Retro a lot. I like the Palisades. It's just a good album, a really cool sound. It's shorter, but you know, I love Gambino, and he does his thing on this album. Simple artwork, but really good tracks. Next up is Maiden Voyages by Ramsey Lewis. Another jazz album. This is more so like piano jazz, as you can see. You know, he's standing on piano keys. I got this in Habit of Grace as well a few weeks ago. I was really hyped to find this because I had listened to it for the first time like a week prior to going up to Habit of Grace. So it was cool to find this one. But yeah, if you like jazz, you like piano jazz, check it out. It's really good. Next up is Private Eyes by Daryl Hall and John Oates. I was really hyped to find this when I did. I had gone to the record store with one of my friends, and I went in being like, I want to find Private Eyes. That's like my holy grail at this point. And I found it for only like $5 too, so I was very excited to find this. Definitely my favorite project by them. I love the title track, probably my favorite Hall & Oates song, but Your Imagination is also really good. And I also like Friday Let Me Down. Next up is Purple Rain by Prince. This is another one of the ones that I bought new. That's cool. It's reflective. I also came with a poster, which is hanging up on my wall, but I don't want to turn my camera around because I have to keep the Wave of Dalker cinematic universe contained to this angle of my bedroom. But it's a good, obviously one of the best albums of all time. Purple Rain's probably one of my favorite songs of all time. But I mean, When Doves Cry, you know, it has a bunch of hits. It's Prince. He's a killer. But yeah, classic album. Had to get it when I found it. Next up is Shout Out the Fantasy Factory by Traffic. This is really cool. I've never really seen an album that's shaped like this. It has the corners cut off. I mean, that's how the album art is. At the point of purchasing this, I hadn't listened to the project, but then like a few days later, I listened to it, and it's definitely my favorite Traffic album of the ones that I've listened to. Traffic was another group suggested to me by my cousin Mariana, and they're really cool. They're just kind of like it's a very unique sound. They're like an English rock band. I don't really know how to describe it. I'm very bad at describing music, but I would check it out if you haven't. This album art is just super dope. I love it, and it's just a really good album. But yeah, Shoot Out the Fantasy Factory. Check it out. Did I say shout out I meant to say shoot out at the Fantasy Factory. Whatever. Next up, Speakerboxxx The Love Below by Outkast. Definitely my favorite Outkast project. I love Outkast. This thing was the 4-disc, 45-minute, or not 45-minute, $45 album, because you know it is like 2 hours, since it is essentially 2 projects by both Big Boi and Andre 3K. But this album's phenomenal. I love Roses. I love Prototype. I love Hey Ya, obviously. This album's just awesome. And I was really happy to find it. Actually, I mean, it's not that it was hard to find, but I was like, you know what, I'm going to buy it. I'm going to make that call. I'm going to get Speakerboxxx Love Below for $45. Ugh. Next up, Sounds of Silence by Simon & Garfunkel. I actually haven't listened to this album front to back, like, ever. But I really like I'm a Rock. I really, really like I'm a Rock. And, I mean, I like the title track. And I just like Simon & Garfunkel. But yeah, not much to say about this one besides I'm a Rock. It's just a great song. Next up, Summer Breeze by Seals and Crofts. I've only listened to this album like front to back once. I just really like the title track, and it was like, how much was it? It was only $4. So I was like, you know what, I might as well just get it. Yeah, good album. Next up, The Royal Scam by Steely Dan. This is another one of the first ones that I got. This is also a really great album. The Fez is probably my favorite on this. But I also like The Caves of Altamira. This is a good album. One of their best. Love Steely Dan, like I said. I don't know why I'm like talking like I am on like it's a time limit. Next up is Treasure by Cocteau Twins. I went to the record store looking to get, this is the same time when I got Purple Rain. I wanted to get like a Cocteau Twins album. This was the only one they had. Definitely not my favorite of theirs, but that's not to say it isn't a great album. It is still really good. I like Persephone a lot and Evo. But I mean, it's Cocteau Twins, so it's gonna be good. But you know, I was looking for Heaven or Las Vegas, or I don't know, like Milk and Kisses. I was looking for something else, but I mean, Treasure's still great. I love Cocteau Twins. Next up, this is just a UB40 live album. So I got it at Habit of Grace as well. I just saw this cover and I was like, this is dope. It's like a English reggae band. I just saw this cover and I was like, that's dope, because it's just Frankenstein. Listen to the music. That's awesome. Like that's just cool cover art. I bought it and I listened to it the next day, and it was really good. I mean, it's just reggae. If you like reggae, you're gonna like this album. But yeah, it's just a UB40 Live. I'm sure you can find it pretty easily, but that cover art is just awesome. Next up, What's Going On reprint. Very glossy cover. It's like reflective. Obviously one of the greatest albums of all time. Actually, funny story, I have a hard time listening to What's Going On, like the title track, anymore, just because for an audio project in the spring semester of my freshman year at HTC, I had to do a audio remix, like a music remix of that song, and I listened to it maybe 100 times, like over the span of a week, and I'm like, I can't do this anymore. So I have a really hard time listening to that song, but this album is obviously one of the greatest of all time. Rest in peace, Marvin Gaye. What's Going On? Next up, Wish You Were Here by Pink Floyd. Definitely my favorite of theirs. One of the most iconic album covers of all time. So much so that Metro Boomin, you know, his Heroes and Villains cover is inspired by it. Just an absolutely killer album. Have a Cigar and Shine On Crazy Diamond. Both parts combined, I guess, are definitely my favorites. But I mean, the whole thing is phenomenal. Wish You Were Here. Like, it's great. And I was very happy to find it. It's like falling apart though. Like the vinyl's like slipping out. But it's Wish You Were Here. You know it. I know it. I love it. And finally, Wired by Jeff Beck. I actually found this in a record store. Like a few days after I think I listened to it. Like I said earlier, I love Jeff Beck. If you like guitar, you're gonna like this album. Really cool jazz fusion, like revolutionary guitar player. Great album. I like Pork Pie Hat, or Goodbye Pork Pie Hat, and I like Sophie. But yeah, Wired by Jeff Beck. Those are all my records. Hope you enjoyed. Let me know what your favorite of mine is. Let me know what your favorite vinyl that you own is. Let me know what your favorite album is. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.